Hey guys, it's Juan again from Physique Transformation Academy, and today I want to chat with you guys about one of the best bicep tips I can give you, and that's pay attention to the way your joints stack. Now, what do I mean by that? Keep in mind, especially when using dumbbells and barbells, that way the gravity works. Gravity works up and down in relation to where we are standing. So, oftentimes I'll see people doing curls with a dumbbell or a barbell, and their elbow is swinging back and forth, and they're not finishing the rep here, but instead they finish the rep up here. Now, what happens when we do that? When we finish the rep up there, notice how I'm cocking the wrists like that, and how, let's say I had a dumbbell or a barbell here, I am now stacking my wrist, my elbow, and in fact, I'm putting the dumbbell here. So now, the way gravity's working, it's not my bicep creating the tension there in order to not let the weight drop due to gravity. It's just gonna be my shoulder, and it's going to be partly just stacked on here. So, what would be the proper range of motion? We know it wouldn't be this. So if I'm using a barbell or a dumbbell, I would leave the elbow stuck there. I wouldn't cock my wrist in. I would leave my wrist neutral or even slightly cocked back. I would curl almost up towards the ceiling, and this would be the end of the range of motion. The more I go, for me to contract even further, I'm gonna have to drive the elbow forward, and I'm going to have to stack those joints on top of each other, as opposed to letting gravity put as much work as possible on the bicep by keeping my wrist here. Now I'm gonna show you guys an example of that. This applies especially to dumbbells and barbells, some machine curls, and sometimes on cable work as well, depending on what angle the cable's coming from. Now you're gonna have to play around with it, but pay attention to when you notice that hard contraction and when you start losing that contraction. So, I'm gonna show you guys here on a machine curl. Now this is especially gonna apply to those who use an easy curl bar for preacher curls or a dumbbell. Notice how already my elbows are forward. The way I'm gonna curl is gonna be up with my wrist almost cocked back or slightly neutral, not this. My goal is not to bring this close to my face, but instead is to bring the weight or the load up and contract the biceps as hard as possible. Now, some people will tend to start lifting their elbows off the pad. That is going to be wrong as well, because lifting the elbows off the pad is going to allow you to bring this closer to the shoulder, which in turn is going to activate the shoulder more, not the biceps. So we want to stabilize the back, the lats, the upper back, and you almost want to drive your triceps deep into this pad. As everything stays nice and stable, you curl up towards the ceiling, and that's the end of the range of motion. I can't go any further. For me to go any further, I'm gonna have to cock my wrist back and curl in towards me, and that's not what I want. Hard contraction, nice and slow negative, pause. Up, hard contraction, nice and slow negative, pause. If you notice, I'm gonna show you guys the same thing here. Pay attention to where the barbell is in relation to my joints. I'm gonna do it properly, and then I'm gonna show you what most people do. Lats tight, curl up. This is the end of the range of motion. Come down nice and slow. Notice my elbows are not going back and forth. And that barbell or that load stays in front of my elbows the entire time. Now, what a lot of people tend to do is they allow their elbows to shift forward, and they curl up like this. That is not what you want to do. Notice how here there's not a lot of tension on my biceps. Why? Because the bar is now back behind, actually, my elbow and my wrist, creating not much tension for the biceps. So, cock the wrist back, bring the elbows back. That is the end of the peak contraction. So guys, that is one of the best tips I can give you for biceps. Pay attention to where the joints are. That way you keep constant tension on the biceps. A lot of people think that they're... So guys, this is one of the best tips I can give you for training biceps, because oftentimes people like to put big weights on there, throw the dumbbells or barbells around, and oftentimes they're like, why don't my arms grow? I was that person for many, many years. So make sure you pay attention to these things. That way you keep constant tension on the biceps, and you can maximally load the biceps without having injuries and with awesome growth. If you need further help, guys, feel free to shoot me a DM, shoot me an email to physiqueacademy@gmail.com, and I would love to have you apply to my coaching program. I don't take on an endless amount of clients. But if I don't have any spots available, I can put you on a waiting list. Now, why do I have a waiting list? Because I like to give each client so much attention, and I also like to prioritize spending time with my family. And that's very important to me. So I want you to apply, and if I feel that we can work well together, we can definitely work on you reaching your goals. Anyway, guys, have a great day.